educators. I am Shilpa Solanki, and I am very, very delighted to welcome you to NARC Power Talks. I will be talking about developing social and emotional skills. Give me a moment till I share my screen. At this point, I'd want you to think about a photo album of any child. Could be your child if you have one. It will contain a vast collection of smiling faces and moments captured. All the first, the growing up, the first outing, the first birthday, first school day, vacations, and so on. Laughter and joy are the most obvious ways of the child expressing happiness. I'd like you to think about a photo album of any child, maybe your own if you have one. It will surely contain a vast collection of smiling faces and moments captured. All the firsts of growing up, first outing, first birthday, first school day, vacations, and so on. Laughter and joy are the most obvious ways that the children express happiness. Can you see these faces? But children will also experience many other emotions, emotions of sadness, anger, frustration, and disappointment, which can lead to tantrums and crying and wailing, yelling, shouting, back answering, shutting out the adult when they grow older. Even if we do not capture these in a camera, these are real feelings and not uncommon, not even to an infant or a toddler. And all these feelings could have legitimate reasons and causes. We just learn to express and manage them better with growing maturity and experience, at least most. How are we able to regulate these emotions? How are we able to control our impulse and reaction? This is where social and emotional development and learning come into play. There is a lot of talk about social emotional learning and social emotional development. What is social emotional learning? Before we understand this, let's ascertain that it is more or equally important as reading and math. This learning process is most effective when it begins early and continues through high school. In one sense, it carries on all our life. SEL is the foundation, the heartbeat of a classroom. It is about connecting with everybody and making them feel safe and secure before we get on with the academics. Social and emotional development broadly means how children start to understand who they are, what they're feeling, and how to expect when they're interacting with others. In a nutshell, it is the ability to express, manage emotions, to form and sustain positive relationships, and explore and engage with our environment. This is how you will see them in real behavior of a younger child. The child begins to make friends, enjoys company of others, shows anger and frustration in a healthy way, figures out conflicts easily, takes care of someone who is hurt without being told, waits patiently for his or her turn, and easily shares resources, follow rules when necessary, and responds to change. As they grow older, you will begin to notice these behaviors in the child if the child is developing social emotional competence steadily. They will begin to develop self control and regulate one's emotion and impulse. They will be able to delay gratification, give more focused attention to things of priority, get along with others, be able to work and play constructively within established social norms, make responsible choices, learn problem solving, and be able to persevere and set goals. Students learn to recognize what is happening inside them and be aware of these emotions and be aware of how to control these impulsive behaviors. It helps them to stop, take a breath, think about the situations before acting them out. Students also begin to identify others' emotions and perspectives, and they begin to empathize, show compassion, no matter who they are and what their background is. Research shows that children with better social emotional confidence do better academically, in work, and in life. Positive social emotional development is extremely important. This development influences a child's self-confidence, empathy, ability to develop meaningful and lasting friendships and partnerships, and helps them to develop a sense of value and self-worth. It also influences all the other areas of development in our life. Growing social and emotional skills is developmental. As children develop, so do their social and emotional skills. For example, the skill of self management is learned when a child can control their emotions and wait for their turn. The same skill is learned as an adult when an adult can control their emotions when faced with inappropriate behavior from their child or colleague at work. Parents and caregivers play a significant role in helping children develop social and emotional skills. Consistent experiences with family members, teachers, and other adults help children learn about relationships and explore emotions in predictable interactions. So, how can we help them develop social and emotional skills further? Here is a broad framework that includes social emotional competencies such as self awareness, self management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision making. Let's elaborate on each one of them. Increasing social and emotional awareness in your daily life is the first step in developing social emotional skills. This means noticing when your child is doing something right and letting them know they are noticed. Recognize cues, their facial expressions, their movement, their sounds, and respond. If a child has a sad expression, name the feeling and respond with empathy. You seem to be really upset. Are you feeling sad? Notice and name the skill you want to develop. Create opportunities to talk about their feelings and give words to those feelings. Start to notice when children demonstrate any high level of emotion. I just noticed you divided a biscuit in half to share with your friend instead of fighting for it. You showed great problem solving. Give responses like that so that your child can identify with what skills are right after they have demonstrated them. Reinforce good behavior. Offer praise when your child demonstrates good social behavior. Reinforcement not only makes the children feel good about themselves, but it helps them to understand why certain behaviors are desirable and worthy of praise, and hence they will repeat them. The other most crucial thing to remember is that children model our skills. Children are great imitators, so give them something great to imitate. Observation plays a vital role in how young children learn new things. If your children in your class see you sharing, expressing gratitude, being helpful, and sharing your own feelings, they will have a good solid understanding of how to interact with other people. So be mindful in the way you talk to your leaders, your colleagues, your subordinates, and your helpers in your workspace and at home. But this doesn't mean you have to be all perfect. But what it does mean is to make mistakes, but be honest about them. You could tell your children, I'm going to step back and take a minute to think this through. If a child is upset, your response could be, I can only imagine how upset you are right now. So I'm going to listen to you so I can hear you fully. Express in a way that they understand and they know that you care. The next thing to remember is to help them develop decision making and responsible choice making. Improve social and emotional skills, develop healthier decision making. It is helpful for you to focus on how children can learn to make decisions. For a younger child, find opportunities in their daily school life. Would you like to play with blocks or you rather play in the sandpit? For older children, get curious about the thinking process. Ask the child what they're thinking when they're making a decision or a choice. Why did you make this decision? What did you consider when making this decision? What were some of the consequences you thought through when you made this decision? This will help you and the child navigate through any gaps there could be in decision making. If you do this on regular basis, it will increase the likelihood that your child will slow down and pay more attention before the child makes a choice or a decision. teach and practice. Social and emotional skills can be taught and practiced in everyday life situations. You don't need to have a special subject or a special time in your timetable to be doing this. These are best learned in social setting, taught by parents, by teachers, by siblings, their peers, and all the adults around them. Social and emotional development do not come easily. In high stress situations, it's tough to maintain self awareness and our reactions. But intentional teaching and conscious teaching and awareness about how we are acting out and how we are responding to situations around us will help us remember to teach children better. Once you get better at a skill, keep trying and increase or add another skill to teach your children. For example, it sounds like you have some ideas about how to respond to your friend. Try it with me and I will pretend I'm your friend. What specifically would you say? Are conversations you could have with your children to help them practice uh, healthy and respectful conversations with their friends? Let's redo that conversation and try it a little differently if you think it's a tricky situation. Some of the strategies you could try in class are carrying out supportive interaction strategies. For this, the teacher or the adult will need to consciously listen attentively to the children by leaning forward, making eye contact, and asking questions about what they're feeling. A simple smile, a pat on the back can also be very comforting and reassuring to students. Let the children know that you're happy to be their teacher. Send a little note, have candid conversation, comment on smaller things that you see them do, especially those that are positive. Foster healthy relationship between home and school. Make an effort to know a little about the child and the child's background. Show respect for the family and the culture that they come from. Establish many ways of communicating and exchanging information with families. Use a variety of strategies and family engagement events to ensure that the family and the child feel a part of your class, your community, and your school. You could provide many activities and experiences to teach SEL. Teach children relaxation techniques and appropriate ways to respond to stress. Pair children to take turns so that they can learn empathy and share resources. Teach young children to respond to a peer's request to work together or play. Encourage children to be kind to one another and learn about feelings. This could be done through reading books, singing songs, creating social stories that are relevant to your class situation. Create a script to assist you when you're having difficulty in the classroom with real situations. A child unable to get along with someone else, a child who's just lost a dear family member. Use these opportunities to bring uh, honest conversations back in your classroom. Redirect children when they are engaged in challenging behavior and help them to make correct choices. This is how you can continue to teach children empathy and cooperation. And one of the most important things to remember is to be able to create a trusting, nurturing environment, not just the physical environment, but the emotional environment of the classroom. Some more strategies for you to take directly back into your classroom spaces. The circle time could have a share box. I'm going to show you an example of that. You could have small sharing questions which are giving opportunity to talk about feelings. What made you smile and happy today? Something that you're really proud of. Were you able to make someone happy? Is there someone you helped today? Are things you can bring up in class to encourage conversations about feelings. Use hand puppets, use toys to bring up conversations. This one is great to talk about self-image and the physical attributes that we hold. Encourage a lot of naming feelings. For the younger children, do not restrict yourself to happy and sad. You could go on to being mad, being scared, being sick, or being sleepy. For the older ones, bring in more complicated feelings, feeling confused, feeling vulnerable. So give children ample opportunities to increase vocabulary. Engage in therapeutic exercises such as singing, drawing, and dancing. Pass feeling bag or cards that will help them talk about what they're feeling and make some choices. I need help is a very difficult thing to ask for, even for adults, and so as for children. I like it when I do this. I don't like it when I do that. I'm feeling fine, but maybe I need to take a break. So use visual cue cards to help them start to talk about what they're feeling. A mood meter could be a quick show of hands to know where your child is. Are you feeling enthusiastic? Are you feeling just about fine? Are you feeling low? Help them to gauge where they are before and at the end of every lesson. Use a lot of calming down activities. You could have, again, cue cards to help them choose how they want to calm down. I want to meditate for some time. I want to bounce on my ball, or I want to count up to 10. It's a choice they could make to help calm down, especially in a frustrating or an angry moment. Use think aloud cards. This will help and encourage a lot of conversation in your classrooms, especially with the older ones. How do you think this boy feels when the boy has just won a race? Do you ever feel like this at school when the child is confused about what she is learning? This girl is eating her lunch alone. Do you think, how do you think she feels? What could you do to make her feel better? So use think aloud conversation cards to bring up real situations. Encourage journal writing. Do daily greetings, extremely important so that they can relate with one another and be cordial. Practice tons of problem solving skills, again, taking cues from your real life examples. To end, I will leave you to think about your magic tips and tricks, and of course, use some of those that we've talked about. Only when you try, you will know that they work. You can add your own spin to it. But remember, every day will not be a rainbow or sunshine, but you have it in you to create and bring the magic into your classroom. Thank you.